It's just a lovely area for kids to explore and dig in the dirt and play with each other and learn from each other.
Hello, Lincoln community. This week, I am joined by our elementary principal, Derek DeLasta, to talk a little bit about our K-3, K-4 program, our youngest Condors, what they're learning, why we've opened the program this year, and what the processes look like. But first, I'd like to take a minute and introduce you to Mr. DeLasta if you haven't had a chance to meet them.
Thank you, Nada. It's great to be here with you to talk about our youngest Condors, and it's just great to be at Lincoln. You know, I joined the community a little bit over a year ago. And really, my wife and I were looking for an international community that's welcoming, that has great academic standards, and I think we found that.
I think I speak for the whole school when I say we're really happy that your family's with us, Derek.
Oh, thank you so much.
So almost as soon as you came on, we started talking about this possibility, probably even maybe a little bit before that, about opening up a K-3 program for our Lincoln learners.
I was very excited in those conversations. You know, in my past, I've been the principal of an all-kindergarten school with 225-year-olds, and that was one of my first introductions into early childhood, and it's just so rewarding just to see that development, that growth, and the really strong partnership that you have with parents, and it speaks to really the partnership in the community that we feel all throughout our Lincoln community.
Can you talk a little bit about what were those processes of preparation, what different aspects we had to consider, and how we helped ready ourselves for this August?
It started off with our meeting where we talked about the fact that a lot of our community, they wanted all of their kids to come to Lincoln.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other schools in our area that offer preschool options for kids, and Lincoln actually has a history of that too. I mean, you know, we're a school that's almost 90 years old.
Yeah, next year.
And I think for a vast majority of our history, we have been open to 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
And so it just seems natural that now would be a good time to explore that a little bit further.
Yeah.
And so we did our market research. We looked at some of the best practices in early childhood education. What does the most current research say about structure, about schedule, about curriculum? And actually, we got really excited about bringing that to Lincoln.
So talk to me a little bit about what the preparation was and that decision to open a K-3, K-4 program.
Well, one of the most exciting questions that we talked about was, do we want to have a K-3 and a K-4 classroom, or do we want to have a multi-age K-3, K-4 classroom with, you know, students 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds in the same class learning at the same time? We looked at the research and we looked at a lot of the reasons for the benefits of each. One thing we did, we took one of our teachers, one of our learning assistants, and we sent them to another school in Paraguay to look at their program, and then we also talked with some of our colleagues in Panama who also have a mixed age program, and we felt that, especially with the social emotional benefits of having the mixed age, that was really the best way to go for us.
And you made a choice to really engage with the new curricular program as well.
That's right. As you know, we use the Common Core curriculum starting in kindergarten, and so we wanted to make sure that we had a play-based and inquiry-based academic program that really benefited social and emotional development as well. And when we looked at all those things, there's a program called Creative Curriculum that really hits a lot of those priorities that we have.
And did you and the team do any specialized training?
I don't know how many hours he has logged already with the creative curriculum and the gold standards, but the training both for the classroom teacher, the learning assistant, the counselor, the specialist, and myself have all been quite extensive.
Coming to the end of our first month, how do you feel like the program's been in action?
The program has been phenomenal in action. I do get to spend a lot of time in morning meetings with the K-3 and K-4s, and it's inspiring. We took a lot of time to make sure that the students and their families felt welcome and to make sure that we were well prepared for them.
Yeah.
I'll take a quick example. If you go in to the K3, K4 classroom during lunchtime, you'll see that they don't actually go down to the cafeteria to eat, but they eat all together at their big table, and they have their special utensils and their special plates.
Yeah.
And then you've got Ms. Hime in there serving them lunch.
Yeah.
And it really feels like a family
more
in
family
that
style.
classroom.
Yeah.
Another thing that we did is our school is wonderful. It's a big campus, but there are lots of stairs, and that can be pretty hard for little legs. And so we created an early childhood play space. It's just a lovely area for kids to explore and dig in the dirt and play with each other and learn from each other.
It's nice for them to have a dedicated learning space that is really catered to their smaller sizes and to their developmental needs.
And it's one of the most fun places on campus too, if you ever have a chance to go to the K3, K4 recess.
You've talked a little bit about some of their routines and lunch and their break, which is probably what they most remember when they go home too.
Yeah.
But if you were talking about a typical day for a 3 and 4-year-old, what would that look like? How would you describe that?
So if I'm a 3-year-old coming in to Lincoln, the first thing I see one of my teachers and one of our super friendly guards at the front door. K3s, K4s, and actually K5s have their own entrance into the building. They'll drop off their backpacks and they'll join the rest of their friends in the atrium for a little morning playtime until 7:55. And at that point, the kindergartners, they have their own flag ceremony, where they lift up the Argentine flag and they sing the flag song all together. And then they go to their classroom for a little learning block. The learning blocks are a mix of some play-based, some early literacy, some numeracy, and for almost the whole day, a K3 and a K4 are together in the same room.
Yeah.
There are a few times where we have intentionally separated the two. So when they go to specialists in the afternoon, we know that some of our K3s need a little bit longer nap time or quiet time. And so we chose to use that time so that the K4s can go to some art, some music, where they can have a little bit more tailored instruction in those specialist areas.
Okay.
The K3s, meanwhile, they get their specialist time in the morning when the K4s are working on some early literacy development.
Okay. So then they're out of the room sometimes together and sometimes out of the room at different times for more targeted.
Exactly. Well, as you know, there's such a wide developmental range, especially at that age.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is that our teachers can really tailor which activities we do together and which ones we do separately in order to meet the developmental needs.
So from your perspective, what makes the individual child's experience so special in the K3 and K4 program?
We intentionally designed a multi-age cycle. So when students come in at K3, they can come in and they can really learn from some of their older peer role models. They can learn some social emotional regulation. They can also learn some academic skills. And then as those older models move on to kindergarten, the K3s become the K4s.
Yeah.
And then they can be part of those students who teach and who really model the social emotional development and the academic development for the younger ones.
And it's a really cool developmental opportunity for them.
Absolutely, and it's a 2-year curriculum, so the actual units and the content are different from year to year.
Through as well.
And also one thing about what we chose is that there's a lot of student voice and a lot of student inquiry and a lot of students' curiosity kind of leading the content.
That's really consistent with, I think, a lot of our beliefs throughout the elementary school and throughout Lincoln. Derek, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll wish everybody a wonderful Lincoln weekend, and we'll see you soon.